said, we have left and right represented here. And it's been male dominated, and I want to welcome to the stage Kim Vuga. Would you come, Kim?
Wow, it's great to see everybody here, left and right. There has never been such a greater shift in voters as we will see this year for the 2016 up-and-coming election. The everyday people of Australia are disillusioned with our current government and continuous revolving door scenario. We have seen 5, that's right, 5 changes in leaders in 5 years. Disgraceful. It is evident that the coalition with Turnbull, now their leader, the unelected Prime Minister, are rapidly losing support, along with the Greens. Turnbull and the Greens are effectively changing the rules and rigging the electoral process for their very own political gain. The minor parties play an important part in our democratic system to keep the major parties accountable and honest. If these changes are allowed to go ahead, it will set the precedents to give the government even more power to make changes as they see fit. So, if every time they look to be losing public support, they will change the rules to keep themselves in power. This is not democracy. This is undemocratic and unconstitutional. I believe we should repeal the legislation on the grounds that a voice will be taken away from the real people in Australia that matter. That's you. That will mean millions of people will lose out on having their voice truly heard in the future. If this legislation is allowed to go ahead, it will have serious ramifications. It is yet another piece of legislation our government has rammed through Parliament without thinking of the effects or the consequences of the voters and the effects and consequences on the minor parties and independents. I believe that this legislation should be halted immediately until such time it can be fully investigated. If Turnbull says it's good for the voters, think again. When legislation favours one party more than another, it is undemocratic and it is not in the best interest of the people of Australia. It is a dirty deal, a deceptive deal, a dirty deal between the Greens, the Coalition and Xenophon. They want to stop minor parties getting in, which is ironic, given that this very system allowed the Greens to exist in the first place. It is a deliberate attempt to change the power. Turnbull knew he was going to lose support and he knew the polls would fall. So when Turnbull knows he's going to lose, what does he do? He changes the very rules of the game so that he can knock out as many parties and independents as he can. He calls a double dissolution, clears the House so that all minor parties can't play. He effectively mucks up the game when losing so that no one else can play or win. There is more to this dirty new legislation that has been rammed through Parliament. You should see the difficulties inside the AEC at the moment. Try and get a logo registered with the AEC and you can't without great difficulty. 3 weeks of backwards and forth emails and submitting of just a logo. The logo had been rejected and was told it was due to the wrong colour. The wrong colour black. However, what we should have been looking for was a colour grey. The AEC have been giving the wrong specifications for the colour black. It is literally a guessing game of trying to find the code of black, colour code black, or should I say grey. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. 5 hours it took a graphic designer to hit the jackpot and find that the specifications given by the AEC for the colour black is wrong. The AEC are unable to be given anybody the correct code. Why? Because they don't have it. I've had to call other graphic designers and rectify the problem. This is detriment to all parties going through the logo and party registration process. The official black that the AEC are expecting to use with the logos is hardly used by anybody. There's never a technical person, and the graphic designer said that nobody uses his version of black. The AEC has expected their staff to do the impossible, with rammed through unworkable legislation to learn overnight, with no support, evidently no technical support to support the new reforms. While the staff at the AEC are not to be blamed, it is the very system in which they have to work with that does not work. One would have to ask the question, how come some of the major parties have got their logos through, yet appears some of the minors are struggling? I believe this is another deliberate attack on the minor parties to wipe out and extinguish the rest of us, to knock out even more parties, a complete wipeout of minor parties. I think that whatever the government is doing at the moment and everything they're doing should be questionable. And I think a lot of people in Australia can resonate with that right now. If you can't trust the government with a colour code, what can we trust them with? These reforms will harm minor parties dramatically. It'll be catastrophic, and we have not seen these changes for something like 30 years. This reform is motivated by self-interest, by the Greens, Xenophon and the government. It is an anti-democratic proposed reform that has been put together by Xenophon and the Greens and the government in a backroom deal. The bottom line is the Greens, Xenophon and the government do not want the everyday people in Parliament. This election, when we all vote, we need to send out a very clear message. So this election, everybody needs to send the message that we'll only vote minor parties and independents for the 2016 election. Thank you.
Well, summing up really quickly, the abominable snowman says it very well. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap says it very well. Would you agree?
Tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye for now.